of the Triangle Tennis Podcast with Zach and Matt. We have taken a little bit of a hiatus for the return of Matt to tennis and my busy season with work, which overlap very nicely. But we're excited to be joining y'all again. Matt, how's it going? How you been? What's new?
It's great. All kinds of stuff is new. Back to playing tennis. Yeah, I prematurely cracked mine.
We're ripping
But,
spin drifts here. We're getting wild, folks.
Yeah. But no, I've been playing probably 3-4 times a week tennis, pickle once or twice. Yeah, it's going. I've started to figure out where my limit is. Seems to be 2 days in a row of tennis, depending on singles and doubles. The serve is still getting me a little bit. I like to afterwards put my arm in my little brace thing again.
Yep.
Just because it gets a little sore. But usually the next morning I'm 100%.
I'm hoping we can talk a little more about this because both of us are coming back from injuries. Yours longer term than mine. I was on the shelf for a little over a month, and you, I think, almost a year. Yeah, it's hard to get back into it because for me, my stamina, which was never great to begin with, it is really not there. Have you been feeling that too?
It's so hard. I was up the other day against a buddy of mine at Chapel Hill Tennis Club, Travin the other day, and I was cruising, playing great, up 5-1. I had some pretty intense points. I should put some of those up on for Daniel. I had one where I went side to side 6 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was literally like 6 times. And I was up 5-1 cruising. I lost the game, and I'm like, that's all right. I'll get the next one. I lose another one, and I'm starting to get tired. I'm like, it's fine. I'll get the next one. I lose the next one. I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'll get this one. And then I'm absolutely just exhausted and end up losing. We just played a set, and he got me 6-5. We played in the morning, so we had to stop. It was like 10 a.m. and he's I got it. I was like, we're not gonna be able to do this. Like we have to go to work.
Interesting. At 6 with him up 6-5.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah, it was like I was toast, man. It would have probably been 6-0. I was so tired. It was like 10 a.m. and we had an hour and a half first set, so we're both like looking at our schedules. Like, and I have a 30-minute drive, so this isn't going to work. We're just going to have to play another time.
Seeing you grind people into dust with hour and a half long sets is so good. It makes me feel happy to see. You and I got a little bit of doubles in the other day, and you had such a vintage Matt Hanauer point where you ran down like 3 balls, and then you hit this beautiful forehand winner on the run to end the point. I think it was the first point of doubles that we played since you got back, and it warmed the cockles of my heart. Let me just tell you.
I had some good visor tosses, chucked the racket a few times, so it's good to chuck the racket with the left hand, not the right. It's not the same with the right hand. It's just not the same.
Are you looking to cut down on the visor and racket tosses, or are you in the range where you're like, this is the right range of tossing?
Yeah, I'm happy with where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any issues. I think most people who know me now it's generally not out of super duper rage. I'm not pleased when I chuck my racket, but
it's more of a release
people laugh.
Thing.
Yeah, and everybody laughs at it, and I hope they laugh at it. I hope no one takes it too seriously. It's silly. It's release. It's not meant to be super intense. So yeah, I have no intention of slowing it down. I do when I'm at the country. Oh, I guess I did join Chapel Hill Tennis Club, so that's
a little racket club action. Okay.
Yeah, so I switched from the Y, the Y is absolutely great. They just only have 2 good courts that have good lights. And as it gets darker, it's just impossible. So when I'm at the racket club, I tone down the racket tossing a little bit. Public courts, just full out, whatever I want to do.
Yeah, I remain on the wait list for Hollow Rock. I very much hope to get in. It's the racket club that's the closest to me. I've had the opportunity to play there with Lefty Mark Schur, longtime listener, longtime friend of the pod, but have not gotten in yet. It's a long wait, man. It's tough.
It's been almost a year.
CHTC is a little too far away from me. Yeah. The East End courts where we typically play, court 1 is, in my mind, unusable at this point. It is too dangerous in the corner, especially in doubles. And court 2, which I played on this morning, starting to see some cracks. Matt, this is probably a good time to move into our next segment. Are there any courts right now that you want to highlight in the Triangle that are worth playing on?
So Southern Boundaries during the day, they resurface those courts. The fun part about Southern Boundaries is the court dimensions are the same, but someone, I don't know, had the wrong paintbrush, or I don't know how you surface courts, but the lines, at the back lines, are really thick.
Is it safe to say that Southern Boundaries has the girthiest lines in the Triangle?
They're girthy, yeah. I'd agree. Yeah, a lot of balls that wouldn't hit the line there. But I do think it's actually the same dimensions. They just painted a bigger back line.
So you don't think there's an extra 2 or 3 inches, which is more than people realize on a tennis court.
Yeah.
You think that it's the correct dimensions, just extra girthy line.
That's my conclusion. I think we should get second and third opinions on that.
Can we get a tape measure? We have the technology. We can answer this question.
We have a tape measure. Yeah, the people who Kevin Lloyd always brings his tape measure out. I see him measuring the net. If he can figure it out.
Max is our normal fact checker. I'm going to go ahead and just take the contrarian stance just so one of us is right. I'm going to say that it's an extra couple inches long, the southern boundaries courts. So somebody please fact check us if you find yourself with a tape measure at Southern Boundaries and listening to this episode of the Triangle Tennis Podcast.
I don't think Max will make his way out there. That's a little far for him. So we might need a little help from our other audience members.
Yeah.
They're out there.
This is your time, community members, to step up, just like Durhamites did in passing the bond. It's going to pump $85 million into 4 different parks, one of which is East End, another one of which is Longmeadow, which is right next to East End, but will soon be connected into a super park. And not biased at all here. Yes, it is walking distance from my house. So is that good for property values? Perhaps. But it's good for the community, number one, because more courts, more parks. Who doesn't want that? What a great investment we've made.
That is great. Oh, I have to tell you, I have another story. So there was a sidewalk bond as well, right?
Yes, there was.
So, this is going to the power of your local community. In Bloomington, I was on this commission that was like community development block grants, and I was on the committee that decided where that money went. And I single-handedly stopped a sidewalk by myself from being built for 4 years.
Well, so break it down for us. Why did you not want that specific sidewalk built? People, I think, hear sidewalks like, that's probably good.
Yeah.
This one wasn't. Tell us why.
If you look at how much that bond was, and it was just for sidewalks, a lot of people might have done a triple take because sidewalks are so damn expensive.
Yes.
So we had about $400,000 we could give out to people who submitted applications. So we would get applications from women's shelters, food pantries, boys and girls clubs, and they all wanted like extra security generators or fixing their gyms and stuff. And so I saw that, and they wanted $50,000, $60,000, and the sidewalk wanted $300K of our $400K to build one block of sidewalk.
Yes.
And I'm like, look at this. How can we justify this?
Yeah, sidewalks are so good, and we should do more to make sure we're building them. But also the price tag, I voted for it, but I did a double take. Like, gosh, that's like an awful lot per mile. It's my understanding that this one in Durham was designed specifically to target the most difficult sidewalks where they have to like do some kind of creative construction. I don't know, buy the land from somebody that doesn't want to really sell it, that kind of stuff. And this will enable the city to do more sidewalks that are at a kind of reasonable price point. They're a little easier. I don't know if that's actually true. I saw that on Durham Bull City Reddit. I trust the good people of that subreddit, but I don't know that it was actually right.
Yeah, Jody gets a lot of good stuff from that subreddit. It's a great subreddit.
Oh yeah, it really is. It really is.
Yeah.
The court that I want to plug is we're gonna step out of Durham for this one. We're gonna go to really the whole city of Cary and Parks and Recs, and obviously CTP is maybe the best facility in the Triangle, but McCrimmon. It is a great setup with 6 pickleball courts, 6 hard courts. The bathrooms, Matt, some people call them the nicest and the cleanest in the Triangle. Do you care to comment?
I would absolutely agree. A great place to take a pregame dump or postgame dump if you need to. Either way.
Between sets, yes.
Between sets, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
If you had it, they're great. The floors are clean. They've got like automatic locks. It's unbelievable. The lights work. There's no brown handprints anywhere. That's just anytime there's not a brown handprint in the bathroom.
Can you clarify what exactly that is, Matt?
So if you go to the bathroom in Elmira, which you shouldn't, I would highly recommend against it. In one of the stalls, there is a brown handprint. And I think we've talked about it before, but I don't know what it is. I don't want to know what it is. And
likely
I know
poop.
of...
Probably likely poop. Yeah, most likely poop.
It most likely is. And I know multiple people, I believe Brady Sowers is one of them, have gotten locked in those bathrooms.
Oh my God, that's a horror movie. That's an amazing comedy awful. Horror movie. Yeah, I actually mean to say that Elmira bathrooms are the best for the between set, really want to fire one off number 2. Because
really?
Because you step into those bathrooms and you're like, I'm gonna get out of here as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
there's
true.
A bad energy. Something bad has happened there.
They're awful.
East End isn't much better, but I think they've been locked for forever.
I don't think anyone goes. I don't think anyone's been in there.
Yeah, and again, I just want to say to all the cities that don't tend to your public bathrooms, what happens then is you get people pissing in the woods. amongst other things, and that's also not good. We really don't. There's any number of reasons we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But so hopefully some of that money that's going to the bond is going to go to improve some of those bathrooms.
I hope so.
So they can be like the McCrimmon bathrooms, which are very nice.
God,
You're right.
Unbelievable.
They're ventilated. I think
beautiful.
they're climate controlled. My goodness.
I think they are too. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a great facility. Great lights. Doug, you said pickleball courts as well.
Yeah.
That is one disadvantage. If you, as yourself, you do not like the pickleball sound.
Yep.
You do have to put up with the pickleballers because it's very close. They're very close to each other.
I will say, if I got locked in the McCrimmon bathroom, I'd be like, this is inconvenient, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to text Sarah that I'm locked in the bathroom at McCrimmon Park. I'm going to just sleep here, and somebody will come get me in the morning. If I'm in the East End or Elmira bathroom and locked in, I am panicking. I'm melting down. Yeah. I'm calling 911. You got to come get me. You got to come get me.
Yep. Yeah. I bet they have Wi-Fi in those McCrimmon bathrooms. You could probably just sit on your phone and watch Netflix.
What'd you do in the McCrimmon bathroom all night? I don't know. I just played video games on my dumb phone. It was nice. Anyway, okay. So, folks, this is the Swingvision episode. Yeah. We are going to talk all things Swingvision. We've talked some public parks. We've caught up on some things. Matt has become a user over the last several months. I have been a long-time user. You're going to hear a wide range of perspectives on the strengths, the weaknesses, whether you should get Swingvision or not, perhaps. And with that, Matt, I want to give you the floor first. Do you like it? Do you like the Swingvision? Let's start there.
I think it's overrated, but I still think it's a good product. I would say it's an above-average product. I'm not sold that it is life-changing, amazing, everyone's got to buy it. Good thing, the best thing about Swingvision is the stick.
What's that?
I think the stick is the best part.
In what way is the stick the best part of Swingvision?
Because that makes it, I could just go up there with my iPhone and I could record my match. And it would be, I could just use my iPhone to record my match, but that stick makes it so that I can actually see it. Like without it, I'm using a tripod. Yeah, that's a mess.
So for me, the great thing that Swingvision does is you can rewatch one of your matches in a reasonable amount of time. It's so easy to watch back.
I will agree with you.
Cutting. Yep. So one of the things for those of y'all that aren't familiar with Swingvision, it's an app. It's on the pricey side that you can get, and you can record yourself
terrible.
playing.
What is it? 150?
Well, that's more than tennis
with the
TV.
Stick. With the stick is the thing that's expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can. And you mount it on the fence. There's other alternative ways to do it that are a little bit cheaper if you don't want to splurge on the stick. And it cuts out the time between points while it's recording you. It also tracks whether balls are going in and out. A little bit spotty there. Tracks the speed of each shot.
Very spotty.
Tracks the type of shot. A little spotty there too. But you can watch condensed version of your matches with some semblance of stats about first serve make rate, forehand make rate, winners, errors, all these things. Now Matt is shaking his head here.
I haven't gotten that
yet. Okay.
I haven't even gotten it to do it yet. I can't even get it to give me stats.
You know what we call that, Matt?
It's not. It doesn't matter if it's user error.
User error.
What I call that is a bad user experience.
Question for you: have you read the how-to about how to do that?
No, I'm not going to read a how-to. Why would I read that?
Because then you could, rather than be complaining about not getting the thing that you want, you could get the thing that you want.
Then I have to
which
read
is all
it.
the stats.
I don't want to do that. It should be easy. It should be easy for me to do. I'm decent with tech. I should be able to do it.
So what I'm hearing is that it is not the most intuitive if you don't read the directions to use app. Okay.
I'm
going to recommend for anybody that spends the money on Swingvision, read the directions. Matt, it's funny. Your Swingvision journey mirrors mine. The first, I don't know how many times I used it. I also didn't read the directions. It did take me a couple, 3 or 4 uses before I started to figure it out. And so you can run auto scoring, so it'll score your match and all that stuff.
Never
okay.
Works.
Yeah, like there is definitely a little bit of trial and error if you, like Matt and I, choose not to read the directions. I'd imagine for somebody that does, there's less of that.
I don't know. But yeah, I have never gotten it to score. Even if I did, I've seen some of them. Like my serve is not over 100 miles per hour ever. It never is. And it says I'm up there multiple times. But you're right. The second thing that I love the most is that it cuts out all the in-between stuff, and that's really good. So it's
a bit of a game changer, isn't it?
Yeah, that's huge because that would be hard to edit out automatically. Like I'm thinking, how do they do that?
Yeah.
And that would take me a long time to figure out. But yeah, that is that, and the stick, I think, make it worth it if you're playing a lot of tennis and you want to improve, because I just watched the video. even from watching 5-10 minutes of it, I just look for certain things. Like I wanted to see how my volleys were. I'm chopping on my backhand so bad.
I found the
And I
stats
picked
to
up
be
some stuff.
really helpful. Once you get into a place where you're comfortable using it and you're getting those, it just reinforces things that oftentimes and then tells you some other interesting things. So like for me, when my first serve is going in at a 55+% clip, I tend to have pretty good outcomes against most players at my level, right? If it's below 40%, I lose matches that like sometimes I'm not really expecting to lose. And so that we all know, you make your first serve, your life gets easier on the tennis court.
Yeah.
But seeing that stat, you're reminded every time you use it, basically, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, I just don't know if I trust the stats yet.
They're definitely not down to the percentage point. I would look at it more as, is it within the margin of error? And I don't know what the margin of error is. Let's say it's 4 or 5 percentage points. I found make rates are pretty good. I found average speeds are. The thing is, if you hit like a drop shot, it factors that in. But also, if you shank the ball, sometimes it'll register as like 116 miles an hour. So I think it somewhat evens out. And then your make-miss rate, I found it to be largely good at getting.
Yeah, because you can tell the make-miss rate should be pretty easy because you can see it like a white line. That's pretty easy to program in.
Yeah.
Did it hit the white? Is it outside these white lines? Speed, type. That's a lot harder because they're trying to train it. Basically, what they're trying to do is train it on thousands and thousands of people hitting the ball a certain way, and they're like, that's a slice. But your slice is way different than my slice. My slice is way different than somebody else's slice. So that's very hard to do. So I'm not saying that this is an easy thing and they should have it done. This is a very hard task to do. So the things that, from someone who has some background in data science, like I understand the things that they're doing right, and that makes sense when they're doing it right. And I understand the things that are difficult, that speed, and I don't even know how they're getting speed. That would be crazy hard. Ooh, number 2. Wow.
Oh, yeah. That's peach strawberry spin drift. Yeah, so break it down for us. How would you get the speed? Because that's the one where I don't feel like it's too low very often, but definitely there will be, if you shank an overhead, you will register sometimes like a 118 mile an hour shot, and that just isn't what happened. And so it's always cool because if you go through, look, I hit a shot 118, just in the kind of like summary of what you're doing.
You didn't.
And then you see the point. It's, no, I shanked an overhead and it registered weird.
You have to I don't know exactly how they do it, the way I would do it, but this isn't very efficient, so I don't think they're doing it this way. But you would have to somehow have some ground truth of, I know this shot that this person hit is 110 miles per hour, and then I'm going to build a model that's going to take – I need to have some training data set that says these shots or this percentage, and I need to know that for a fact. Like I need to have some speed gun on it, or I need to just know that, some training data set.
Well, hold
and
then
when
if a ball, if they track it as being point A, and which is like a guess because you don't really know where somebody's hitting it on their serve, and then track how long it takes to get to point B, which is somewhere.
Oh, we could do it that way too. Yeah, maybe they do it that way.
I gotta imagine there's like some of that feels to me
that
easier
much,
as
that
somebody
seems
who
much
doesn't
easier.
know.
Yeah, that's probably the way they're doing it. The way I described seems too hard because I don't think they would sit there with a radar gun for all those different shots. So that's probably the way they're doing it. The ins and outs are like the way I was saying. You probably have a human going through all that and saying in out, or the same with the shot.
Really? Wow, how do you get that job?
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, you hire these people. There's this thing called Amazon Mechanical Turk. I used it for my dissertation. Yeah. You hire these people, you pay them like $20, and then they rate it and things like that. Yeah, it's a shitty job. All of that. All of the AI stuff that is out there, humans are a large part of the base. People don't know that. Your ChatGPT, other things, that the base of that, a lot of that is humans going through and coding it and saying it's right or wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So one thing that I think is a nice feature that I'm still exploring, on Swingvision, you can sync it to your Apple Watch so you can stop and start things.
Yep.
You can, and sometimes you can get to tell you whether the ball was in or out.
Yep.
That's a little spotty. If it's clearly in or clearly out, very good success rate. Yeah. When it's close or when there's like a glare from the sun or if you slightly set it up wrong, it's a little spotty. Some of that can be user error. Some of that's how sunshine works, but it's not quite there yet. I do think a thing that we'll see in the future as it becomes more prevalent and more used, particularly at the junior and high level amateur stuff, you'll have both players using Swingvision. And they'll be using that to make calls because there's a lot of user error in call making on tennis courts, and Swingvision I think is pretty darn close to being better already.
I actually don't find when I look at sometimes I'll look at the close ones and I generally agree with it. I think it's pretty good. I'll look at it if it's a close one if I
Yeah.
call it out and it's been pretty close. And there was one my partner called a couple I'm not going to say which night, sometime in the last week. I thought might
Uh-oh.
have been in and I looked and I was like, "Ooh, that wasn't."
Who
I didn't say
amongst
anything.
us?
Yeah, but it was super close. Like it
Right.
wasn't like this was not a glaring. This was like, that could have been in or out.
Yeah. Those are
I
always tough
find it
calls.
Yeah, but I find that to be very useful, and I am very excited for if they get that upgrade to call because I forget the score all the time.
Yeah.
So one, if it could keep track of score for me, and if it could call the balls in and out, I would just take keeping track of score with me for first because
That
I
is
just forget
kind
the
of
score
nice.
all the time.
Gosh, one of the things that I've heard from a lot of other guys that they use Swingvision is they wish that they had this in high school or if they played in college, just so they could go
Yeah.
back and have some of their fun matches. But
Yeah,
also, for
exactly.
me, I will every now and then I'll go back 2 years ago and I'll watch an old match of mine and I'll be like, okay, how does my stamina compare to then?
Yeah.
How does my form look? Have I lost something on my serve? Have I tweaked something on my forehand? And it's helpful to have those
Yeah, it's cool.
historical data points as
Yeah.
well. And it's one of the reasons I think I'll continue to use it year after year.
Yeah, I plan on using it. It's giving me enough value that I like it. Just for me, it's just the basic of watching a match. I just will watch some highlights,
Yeah.
5 or 6 minutes. I know what I was trying to do there. How are my volleys? Are my hands out? A lot of my backhands I'm chopping down, so
Yeah.
working on hitting through. I'm trying to hit some more drop shots because I got to end the point quicker. I don't know if I'm ever going to be in the shape I was. What am I doing my drop shots? Do I have good form on that or not? So things like that.
Yeah. One thing I want to encourage folks who are listening to do is not get the 4K version. It just drains your phone battery too fast. And also,
Oh yeah.
if you're being totally honest, like you don't really need to see yourself in 4K.
No.
Like
You don't.
1080p, more than enough for me. Matt, what do you think?
I don't need to see any. I see all the rolls and everything. I'm good. I don't need to see any more of me.
Now, I need to prepare all of the fellas that don't have a hairline like Matt's for something. The angle, it's going to be from above. All right, fellas? And you're going to learn things about your hairline and the top of the center of your head that you
Oh
might not
no.
love. I
Oh,
look
that's
at mine
funny.
and I'm like, wait a second. I'm pretty sure I have a full head of hair. And then I look at Swingvision and there's that little
Yeah.
cowlick. And I'm like, okay, it's fullish.
Yeah.
And some of y'all, hey, you know who you are. Maybe you don't. You're gonna learn something about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't move. There are a lot of points where I think I'm moving fast and I'm not, which is pretty interesting.
Oh my God, yes. There's nothing more humbling than like a point where you're like, oh, I was really moving on that. And then you
Yeah.
watch it back and it's like an old man hobbling towards a ball.
Yeah. There are definitely some points. There are some points where I'm like, oh, my fat ass is moving pretty fast. Like, yeah, there are some points where I'm like, I was moving pretty quick there. But a lot of them, you're not moving as fast as you would like. Your strokes are not as good as you think they are.
Can I give you
But-
my system that I use for highlighting points?
Sure.
So on Swingvision, you have the feature of highlighting or liking or favoriting a point, and that kind of takes all the different points from your match, and it makes it a smaller group. So if you only wanted to do forehands, you can sort that way, but you can
Yep.
also go through and favorite them that way.
Mhm.
For me, what I do is every point that ends in a winner, automatic favorite. So then I got a little highlight reel from each match. It's
Okay.
fun for me. I made fun for maybe the folks that I was playing with. I will then also go through and like any point that's just a really good point. Maybe it's a 14,
long
15
point.
shot
Yeah,
exchange.
exactly.
Doesn't end a winner, but somebody does something cool. I'll try and like
Mhm.
those too. It's a lot more fun to go back and rewatch those than it is full matches. But
Yeah.
you learn. I think that you learn more watching your full match than just the kind of the highlight
Mhm.
reel.
Yeah, sometimes I'll pick the longer points because you'll just get more bang for your buck on those points of shots. But I'll usually have a couple things I'm looking at specifically.
Yeah.
I felt like my serve wasn't great, particularly like I said on my volleys and backhand. Am I jumping, things like that? There's 5 or 6 things I'm just looking for watching,
Yeah.
and I can usually watch 5 to 10 minutes and pick up. Am I doing that or not?
One complaint that I have, and it's something that really affects TTP marketing director Daniel Marchek. The stuff that you need to, the way you need to shoot the point to put it on Instagram, it's 16 by 19, and that means that it has to pan from side to side, and it's just not very good.
Yeah.
It's frequently getting the person's out of frame in
Yep.
the pan when they would be in it if it was a kind of a square, like standard sizing. It's not great at tracking. It's a little clunky. It's a little too slow for 4.0, 4.5 tennis to track from side to side.
Yeah.
And I find that frustrating. So Daniel Marchek, we've got this great material that we try and send over to him, but then when we go to post, it doesn't really work. I know that there's ways that you can go in and manually fix that, but at that point, the workload, the burden
That's
of
too
doing
much.
it's just sort of defeat purpose. So hopefully that's something they'll get better at in
Okay.
future versions of the software.
Interesting. I think it's fun when people go. I like to see, especially me, because I'll go in and out of the frame a lot because I'm running side to side. So it's always fun to see me come back out of nowhere and be like, "Oh, there he is. He's back."
I will give you that it is fun in those moments, but the whole reason we're spending money on this is so we can watch ourselves play tennis. And then it's a pivotal thing if you're going out of frame, like how you're recovering, if you hit the ball but it's not on there. For me, at least, I want to be capturing myself 100% of the time I'm on the court, so I know what I'm doing in every situation.
Interesting. That doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going out of the frame more than you.
Yes, that's
because I'm running side to side more. Yeah.
The one exception is I'm playing more doubles right now. That's how I'm easing back from injury. And doubles, I get it. Like, it's a little tough. Depending on the type of phone you have, you probably have a camera on both sides. I'm pretty sure every phone at this point has a camera on both sides. The way that I do it, I'll have the camera facing the court, or the face of the phone facing the court. That way you can see in the phone what you're looking at. It's my understanding those cameras on the phone are not as good as the ones on the other side. So the real pros, like Mark Schur, they'll use the nicer camera on their phone and they get a little bit better quality, but it's just harder to set up.
Yeah, even with I have the Apple Watch too, and I still don't set it up right all the time.
Do you enjoy watching your own highlights, by the way? And how often do you do it? Yeah.
I try when I get a chance to Swingvision, I watch it, and I try to watch. I don't watch the whole thing, but at least 10, 15 minutes of it. I don't have a problem watching myself. I like it.
I really enjoy watching the highlights. Sometimes going through to get the highlights, I can't believe I missed that shot. I can't I'll relive frustrating moments more than when you're physically confronted with it. I find myself getting annoyed with some of the choices that I make.
Oh, yeah. Mine's more form. Most of my matches, it's been form, or I've just gotten tired. So I don't know. I'm not going to beat myself up when I can barely breathe. What am I going to do? I just have to play more.
That's actually one of the things. So I did not Swingvision myself the first few times when I was playing coming back from injury. I wasn't ready to see it yet. I just needed to be on the court and ease back into it. I'm starting to again. I'm filming myself most of the time for doubles, but not for singles because I just feel like the gap between before I got hurt versus now is still so big in singles. I feel like I'm basically back for doubles though.
Yeah, I'm getting close. My wrist still towards the end of a match. Yeah. Depending on how long it goes, my wrist starts to go, and that just might be the way it is. So I've just got to figure out how to adapt.
So, question: do you see a drop off over the course of watching yourself on Swingvision as your wrist kind of gets a little more tender throughout the?
Yeah, my serve gets slower. I don't have as much kick, junk, whatever on it. And that sometimes can resonate. It doesn't usually hurt my ground. I don't hurt on my ground strokes, but that can resonate a little. If I catch it wrong, it hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
So the second part of the second set in multiple matches, I've gone downhill a little bit because I've gotten tired and then my wrist hurts a little bit. So what are you gonna do?
One other benefit that I found. So part of the reason that I stopped playing and went to see a doctor and went to see TTP endorsed PT Andres Caro is because I was watching one of my matches and I was like, oh wow, the drop off in movement is so pronounced and so significant. And it's not necessarily a tired movement, although there was certainly a touch of that. It was you could see how my left ankle and foot just weren't cooperating with my body. You could see I was tender on shots, and when I land on it, there's a little bit of a recoil. And so it's helpful for observing drop off that is from an injury of attrition. I think a lot of folks, if you're dealing with chronic shoulder pain, it will very likely show up on a Swingvision over the course of a long match. I think that tells you something, right?
Yeah. I know. So I played 1 week 4 singles or doubles matches in a row. My wrist was about to fall off. So I'm just okay, can't do that anymore. So now it's a couple days on, and then I'll play pickleball because pickleball is just easier on the wrist. So I'll just switch it up. I'm excited to try Swingvision for pickleball. Very curious to see how it goes. One of these days I'll get that set up. So we'll see how that goes.
Are there any other features that you would like to see in future versions, Matt?
I think the ones that they said were coming were auto scoring. That would be amazing, and then calling in and out. Those are the only two. Yeah. I'm sure there are other ones, but those are the ones. And I think the auto scoring is not unreasonable. And then if you can auto score, you might be able to calling it out live is pretty tough.
Yeah.
I can see that being tough and expensive, but the auto scoring, because they're able to call it in and out, and I feel on my phone I can see it. So I feel like they're not too. That doesn't seem like an unreasonable jump.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna say one reasonable-ish one and then one
Sure.
full-on unreasonable one, I think.
Okay.
But you understand that stuff works better than I do, so you tell me. I would
Sure.
love to see RPMs included. Would love, love, love to see RPMs included.
RPM? What's an RPM?
Rotations per minute. So when you hit a forehand, the ball is spinning a certain amount of times per minute, and that gives you an idea of like how your spin compares to somebody that you might be playing.
You want to see the ball spinning?
I do, because
Man, that would be so hard. That ball's so small on that camera.
It's true. It's true. Maybe they'll even have to make a new type of tennis ball so Swingvision can better track RPM. Whatever the technology they use for the ATP and WTA, obviously slightly different budget than your average club hacker, but that's something that they track. The other one, and this one is probably even more unreasonable, Matt, you tell me, is how like you get the graphics on TV of the trajectory of a ball where it's like a cartoon-ish? I would love to see that on Swingvision, especially if you could show every serve, because then it would show contact point, trajectory, where it landed, and if you could layer that just would be an interesting data visualization for me. Same for forehand, same for backhand.
Like when I see the Hawkeye thing and they show you is it in or out?
Yeah.
I actually don't, because they can call it in or out. Then they just have to put it on a graphical. That actually seems more reasonable than your other one.
So there would be an animated trajectory of the ball going and landing.
Yeah, but they know where it landed on the court. They know where it landed on the court, and they can do that.
They know your start point. They know where it landed. But it seems like the in between there, like, is that just
I don't think that's an unreasonable.
Okay.
I don't think that's super unreasonable. I don't think it's easy.
Yeah.
But they've done all the other things. Then they just have to switch it for an animated version. I don't know. I don't think that's too crazy. The first one would be hard because you'd have to watch it spin, and that camera is so small.
Yeah.
But if you put little red dots or some dots on the ball, then it could track it, or different colored dots on the ball. Then it could see, oh, I saw the green, I saw the red, or if I just a red dot, I saw the red dot spin. I saw the red dot 5 times, so it spun 5 times.
That would be
if you did something like that.
That would be pretty darn cool. I have one other feature request. I wish that it would either pull out drop shots from your like average forehand backhand speed, or at least sort by different types of attempts, because like your median or whatever your average speed, it doesn't tell you that much if you hit no drop shots that goes up, if you hit some drop shots that go down. Same deal for lobs. Like it should say the average pace of lob versus like average pace of forehand period.
They should just give you, like you said, they should give you the median, then it takes out the outliers. That should do the trick. That would be the easiest solution. The harder, not terribly hard, but the harder solution would be to break them out.
Yeah.
Just get the median.
They can even keep the average, but they could maybe add the median in.
Yeah. Be good. That's just Stats 101. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, they might already have that, and I just haven't noticed it or haven't looked. Since
haven't read the directions, apparently.
Certainly not. No, man. There was a period there where like I kept trying to run auto scoring, and however I was doing it, it would make my match unwatchable. And there are a couple really good matches that I like wanted to go back and rewatch, and I just couldn't figure them out. So I eventually ended up deleting them. I figured out, I think, what I was doing eventually.
Yeah.
I'm still not quite sure. Maybe their software got a little bit easier, but the match, it has been probably a year plus since I made the attempt to record and didn't successfully get it in the format that I was hoping to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The one exception is I forgot to press play once for a few games. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, I've had that. The first attempt I had, I recorded the woods, so that was fun. Second attempt, I think I forgot to hit record. Third attempt, my alarm went off.
Oh, yeah. So what about attempt number 4? Is that the one?
Fourth, maybe I did something on my watch and they weren't syncing, so it didn't record. And then the 5th time, I think I got it. And I've generally been able to successfully record them, upload them, and share them since. I've never gotten auto scoring to work.
Probably the easiest way to do it is if you have an old iPhone laying around, which is offline, using that to record your Swingvision, uploading it when you get home, because I've gotten a couple phone calls when I'm recording, and that has broken the stream of
a phone call will too?
I think the newest update has changed that feature, but that's the thing that used to happen. I also put it on Do Not Disturb mode when I record now, so
that's smart. Yeah. That the phone, I don't get too many phone calls, so that's That's not too. It's just I had an alarm set.
I think we all get less phone calls now than we did 5 days ago.
Yes, a lot less texts. A lot less texts.
Yeah. Without getting too political, while it was a really good night for my clients, the thing that I was hoping for, big picture, did not occur. Did not occur.
Yeah, it didn't.
That was a real letdown, real bummer. I'm sure I'll talk about that with several of y'all off the pod, but the Bonds, the state.
We're gonna focus on Josh Stein got the win, and that was on your team, so that was good to hear.
So what I'll just plug then is for anybody that is, if you're really happy about the election result, hey, you should still get involved at the local level because implement whatever you want to implement.
Or stop whatever you want to stop.
Yes, and if you're unhappy about the outcome of the election, you should absolutely get involved at the local level because it becomes even more important. I think the takeaway that I would say, no matter what you think politically, great chance to sign up for a committee or apply for one, advisory board, start volunteer at a nonprofit, whatever it may be.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I literally stopped the sidewalk by myself for 4 years.
Yep.
So if there's something you don't like, get involved locally, and you can have a lot of impact.
Matt, it seems like one of the great things that you and Jody do off the court is fostering a whole lot of animals, and I think that you have something to share with the gang.
Oh, we do. Let me pull this up. Jody is taking care of a kit. She's been basically raising a kitten. It was like a 2-day-old kitten. I'm not sure where she got it from. Let me pull this up. She's made a resume for him. It's still a little bit of a work in progress. Let me share my screen, and we'll send this out soon for everyone to see.
Oh. And this might even be the episode photo. Kratos the kitten.
Yeah. Kratos the kitten. And for those of you who don't know the reference, Kratos is from the video game God of War. I have a picture of him in my office. He is a really very manly man. A little different than Mr. Kratos.
And for those of you, this is an auditory medium or audio medium. It is a very cute, very little cat. It looks like he could fit in a beer stein pretty easily.
Yeah. He's gotten bigger, but he started off the size of Jody's palm, and then he's gotten bigger. But Jody made this. We'll try and put up this resume. Jody's got a newer version, but she's got a resume that's full of tennis and pickleball puns that are very fun.
See, this is great for me and TTP because this is obviously going to get more engagement than any tennis shit that we're going to put up there. Like people are like, oh cat. There's an actual audience for it.
Yep. So we've got kitten net play, belly rub risk management, field technician, boy and object retrieval.
What's the batting average on retrieving objects? Because for Petunia, it's like sub 50.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty low, but he does do it from time to time. He is very good at piercing Jody's skin. He has claws.
Probably should cut that. I don't think it's a good selling point. By the way, you were honest in the resume. You say when a field technician in training for the toy and object retrieval, so that is consistent with the advertising that you were doing for Kratos the kitten.
Yes. Yep, so we'll send this out, but she's got lots of fun and pickleball puns in there. So we'll get that out once she's got a few more edits to make and get that out to folks. Kratos is going to be looking for a home around the holidays. So you'll be getting some messages about Kratos the kitten.
Listen to your pal Zach on this, folks. Have you not gotten a holiday gift for somebody special? Oh, that's not good.
Yep.
What's something good that you could do? Probably adopt Kratos the kitten. Yeah. That's a great way to save the day if you're running a little behind on holiday gift giving.
Yeah.
Nothing says I love you and I value you as a family member or friend like forcibly gifting them a kitten.
You can have no charge. It's a free gift. But just take them.
Wow.
Take 'em.
Budget conscious gift too. Get in the holiday spirit.
Yeah.
Okay. Kratos the kitten.
All right. Kratos the kitten.
We've got a couple other plugs before we get on out of here today. So one thing I just want to make sure to bring up is the Durham Retro Racket Classic is back. We've got a nice little field. We've raised over $1,000 for DPR. So thank you to everybody who's contributed and who's going to be playing. We are working to get the draws released as soon as possible. Bear in mind, this is a volunteer-run operation. All of us have day jobs. And it's harder than it sounds to organize these things. So bear with us. Give us a little time. We're going to get that out. It's November 16th, 8 a.m., which is a Saturday, Rock Quarry Park. we've had a couple questions on what kind of rackets you can use.
Yeah.
Technically, it is called the Retro Racket Classic. Any retro racket, go nuts with it. We are suggesting and preferring wood rackets. I think that's going to be a little bit more even. However, I know that there are a couple like pretty electric early metal frame rackets, and I think that is consistent with the spirit of the tournament. For me, though, I'm playing with the Woody because it is friggin' hard and weird to do.
It's awful.
It's really fun at how bad you are.
We are gonna have a good time though. We have Diadem grass court balls. I know Daniel, Raj, I think Stuart and Ben were out playing. They asked for a case, so I got them a case of the official Retro Racket Club ball. And I've got 2 cases, so we're ready to go.
I just remembered that I emailed a trophy guy. We're supposed to get 4 trophies for this, and I was like, send me the invoice. And then he never did and hasn't responded with the trophies. So I have a little bit following up to do so we can have something to celebrate.
Yes, definitely got to get some trophies. If only they could be the ones that I have.
I inquired about that. They didn't carry that line, unfortunately.
Makes sense. It makes sense why that line might have been discontinued.
Maybe we can 3D print them down the road. I don't know.
So those, and then I'll be bringing my grill out. I have a bunch of beer that has been left at my house that I don't like, so I will be bringing it for other people to drink.
Ooh.
Yep. So we'll have beer. I'll bring we'll have burgers, chips, stuff like that.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun last year. Now each of us have one more plug, a non-tennis related plug.
No, mine's still tennis. Tennis.
Okay. Plug.
Actually, you go. Let me. Actually, I gotta go get it because I want to show you because it'll be even. And I'll put a link on the.
Okay. Then my plug. I used to work in Los Angeles in a city called Venice. There, great fun play. It used to be a lot of fun. Now it's, but yeah, what can you do? Snapchat destroyed the flavor. But my office was above a yoga studio for a strain of yoga called Kundalini Yoga. And they are big into breath and making like loud, weird sex noises while they practice yoga. And it used to interrupt me in the workplace and be super annoying. Turns out it wasn't just a Kundalini Yoga studio. It was a bit of a cult. And they have just released a documentary on this on HBO called Breath of Fire. And maybe I only like it because like I see familiar faces because, again, we used to work in the same building. But it's pretty good. It's a pretty fascinating character study. It's a fascinating history of yoga broadly in the U.S., but specifically this one sort of weird strain. And it's a really interesting glimpse into something that became a bit of a cult. And by a bit of a cult, I mean like a full-on cult. If you're into that kind of thing, highly recommend Breath of Fire. Max now, and they've had 3 episodes come out with more on the way.
Okay, that's great. There's a new so one of my dad's friends gave me this product, so I'll put a link to it on it. What is this called? Vortex something. It's an ice pack. You can see the ice here. You put it in your freezer, and there's different body parts. So I like this one for my wrist, but they have elbow. They have.
Are they each shaped differently so they're better equipped?
Yep, exactly.
Ooh.
So some of them, and they have upper arm, shoulder. I think they have some leg ones, but they got these nice straps so you can make it nice and tight, and it stays cold for about 20 minutes, and then it dissipates. So that's usually about how long you want to keep it on, anyways.
That's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can do. So the nice thing I like is you can do stuff. See, I could have done this whole podcast with this thing, and yeah. It's pretty cool. I like it. So I'll put a link if anyone's interested in it. I'm enjoying it. I like that it can be pretty tight, function with it, because I don't know about you, but I don't want to sit on the couch with an ice pack on my shoulder.
Oh, it always gets all drippy, and then your couch or your leg, or the towel kind of leak on you. That's a great product. I also think it's an important reminder for folks listening that are dealing with coming back from an injury or chronic pain. You got to take care of it. You got to do the maintenance. Matt, you're putting the work in. For me, I'm trying to make sure I still do my little stretches and drills when I'm not playing on non-tennis days. It's an ongoing process, and you got to be mindful of your body.
Yep. I have one more plug before we get it. I forgot. How could I forget? But while we were out, our pickleball team took a big step forward to the Golden Pickle. We won our local league, 2 or 3 in the championship.
You're being called a pickle kingpin, Matt. Do you accept that title?
Yes. I gladly accept it. I encourage it. Yeah, so that's been great. So we will be playing in the Pickleball East Coast Championships next July. A little bit
Whoa,
of a
that's a
time.
pretty cool sounding tournament name.
Yes, and even though it is East Coast Championships, there's only people from North Carolina, but we get a banner if we win that says East Coast Champions.
Are you
So
gonna
I'm just
glue
gonna
that to the the courts at East End? That
I could definitely. I don't want to hang it there because I don't think it'll last. So
I don't know. That feels like one that I'm not sure that anybody's gonna have any use for that other than the people on the team when
Yeah.
they see it.
I'm not sure what to do with that. I know at Piney, so at Piney is the home court. They have one hung up there, so I think it might go there. And that's if you haven't been out there, very nice facility. Anyone who wants to play pickleball, please go play there. Don't play at a tennis court. There's 18 beautiful pickleball courts. Please go there. And yeah, so we are one step closer. The championships were at Chapel Hill Tennis Club last year, so hopefully they're there this year, and we'll keep everyone posted.
I love it. Matt, before we get out of here, there's a game that we haven't played in a long time. This isn't in the show notes, but I just want to play. I just want to play for Point A to Public Clay, because how could we go in a whole episode without advocating for folks to also advocate to community leaders, elected officials, city staff, whoever it may be, for public clay courts?
All right, I'm looking
Public
around.
clay courts, by the way, do not equal free clay courts. A lot of the things that people bring up is, the cost. They can be paid. Cary Tennis Park is not free. It is a revenue-generating entity, and public clay courts in Durham could be the same thing.
I agree. What do I have at my desk? Oh, look, it's a handkerchief.
It's a handkerchief.
There you go.
Okay.
How do you go from handkerchief? Go.
You use a handkerchief to wipe your nose. An important thing to remember when you're playing on public clay courts is to wipe down the courts and the lines after you get done, to be a mindful user of those courts and to make it a little easier on whoever the person that comes after you is.
Yeah.
I'm
Damn it.
faster.
That was really good.
I'm getting faster. Yeah.
That was good. Yeah, you went there in 3 seconds. I thought I was going to stump you on that.
Public clay courts are on my mind such a staggering amount of the time. It is absolutely unhealthy, and I'm uncomfortable about the idea of bringing it up with my therapist, because I'm pretty sure she'd be like, "Come on, man, that's too much time to think about public clay courts."
That's your Roman Empire? That was the thing, right?
I for sure spend more time thinking about public clay courts than the greatest movie ever made, Master and Commander, starring Russell Crowe.
The greatest movie ever.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that. A lot of people
No,
saying
they're not. That'll have to be another episode.
With that, there will be another episode coming in a couple of weeks of the Triangle Tennis Podcast. Matt and I both answered the question. Thanks so much for joining us. Matt, anything you want to say before we go?
We're going to start doing every other week is going to be the cadence going forward generally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, with both of us playing again, it's tough. It's tough to schedule this. And also, it's a lot of content. We're going to try and do an hour every other week. We want folks to enjoy it. We don't want it to feel overwhelming. We want this to be fun and a helpful thing for folks in the Triangle Tennis community. And with that, thanks again for listening.
I think that's it. All right.
Boop. That was great.